Live from the Steel Twins recording studio in beautiful Traverse City, Michigan. It's your boys, the Cannonball, the Cannon, the Steel Twins. What's up, everybody? It's your boys, the Steel Twins. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Let me turn this music off. And then I got to turn that slider back up.
Yes.
So I think it was at 7.6.
Yeah.
That's good enough for me.
Yep.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's a special Friday night episode of Voice Acting with your boys, the Cannonball and the Cannon. We weren't available Wednesday, but we're here and we are live.
That's right, boys and girls. And I'm here to tell you right now, this next case we're about to tackle is a doozy.
It's a meaty one for sure. I mean, this case is so expansive, it takes 2 in-game episodes to complete.
Yep.
And more than likely, it's going to take at least 2 months. 2 hours a night, it's meaty. So, I hope everybody was able to catch up on the series. If you just got done with our very last episode, our latest episode, holy shit.
I'm like, what?
What? Yeah. One of the biggest surprises I've ever encountered in my life. So, it's certainly amazing. Just going to check my things here. So, there's really only one thing left to do.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what we got back?
Yes, sir.
That's right. I guess they changed the design on their cans, but it's bang night. So if you have a cap to your bottle or a pin on your drink, you go ahead and pull that pin right back. Yo, package. What time is it?
It's time to get... Excuse me.
Botch.
Yeah. It's time to get bombed.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. I'm ready to go.
Good. New design and can. Same great taste.
Yeah, buddy.
So, all right, it is live scene time. And we are going to start this game up. Let's go. I can't wait. Okay.
I'm getting goosebumps, man.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. And we were going over some of our other older performances, but I didn't crack into this one. So, kind of going into this blind. I don't quite remember how it started out.
I did. I kind of jumped ahead, and I kind of practiced a little bit myself. But
okay, good. So one of us did his homework.
Yeah. So,
all right, we're loading the game.
All right.
So. Okay, so it's time for episode 4, Twisted Karma, and his last bow.
Shut up, clock in, and load up.
What the heck could that possibly mean?
Well, let's delve into the introduction. It was indeed a most bizarre incident born of a curious advertisement and a commonplace killing at the edge of town. Advertisement.
Pipe in hand, Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside our window. I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog, he said. Indeed, a most bizarre incident, born of a curious advertisement. A hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial murder, an executed man's graveyard resurrection in the dead of night. And a commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room at the edge of town. There is, naturally, always another side to every case, of which most remain ignorant. And it is that other side which compels me to the scene of the crime, Wilson. So quickly now, take your hat and let's be on our way, my dear fellow. For our adventure is not over yet. Come, the game is afoot.
Classic.
Yes, indeed. You gotta love that.
Wow. So what about this advertisement? What? Okay, hang on. So 8 days after that earth-shattering trial and Kazuma regaining his memory. Still can't get over that. Holy shit.
Me neither.
We were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel.
Oh, Waterloo.
Oh, boy. Look at this fancy place.
1st of November, 10:24 a.m. Great Waterloo Hotel, foyer.
Oh, yeah, we got it. We have the Great Science Symposium.
Yes.
Professor Mikatoba is due to arrive at any moment.
Yes, I'm so glad we got here in time.
Sasato-san hasn't been the same since what happened. Not that I'm surprised.
The truth about Kazuma-sama's father. Do you suppose my father knew?
That he was actually the mass murderer? The professor, you mean? I knew that's what she was thinking about. There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they?
Yes, that's true.
Come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikatoba knew about Kazuma going missing in Hong Kong as well?
That's right. But for some reason, he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it.
That probably means he knows then. About Kazuma showing up here in London with amnesia and that he's regained his memory now.
There she is.
Whoa.
Oh, Father!
Hello, Sasato. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. We're delighted you arrived safe and sound.
Who's that big dude in the back? He's very imposing.
Hello, Mr. Naruhodo. Very kind of you to take the trouble and meet us here.
Oh no, not at all. It's my pleasure.
We've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know. The news has crossed the seas.
It has?
I always look forward to reading the monthly reports arrive with the steamships from Britain.
Oh, I see. Well, thank you very much. Who is this man? And why do I feel as though I've seen him before?
I take it from your expression that you can't quite place me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Seishiro? A firm tap should do it. Yes.
A firm tap? What?
Here we go then. I hereby pronounce the defendant Oyonosuke Naruhodo
Guilty! Oh! You're... Oh, wow.
The court will now hear the trial of Oyonosuke Naruhodo.
Your Excellency!
Hello, Judge Jukogu. How are you? It's been a long time.
Good, you've remembered now. That really did the trick.
Guilty! Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? There was no laughing at the time.
So, London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. To be honest, I never thought I'd be back. Neither did I. I didn't imagine Japan would ever be invited to an international symposium like this. Though really, I doubt anyone did, to be honest. It's all thanks to you, isn't it, Seishiro? What are you talking about, Eugen?
Of course, Judge Jigoku. He must complete the set. He's the other man who 16 years ago came to London with Kazuma's father and Professor Mikatoba. He's the third visiting scholar.
Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. I must say, I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? I knew you were jealous.
Sorry? Ministerial status?
Yes, didn't you know? Seishiro here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. It was his personal insistence that allowed you to take Kazuma's place here on this study tour.
Guilty as charged.
He sure laughs a lot. Oh, well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks.
Yes, now, Naruhodo. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday.
Oh, you did?
It appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved with 8 days ago. About what happened 10 years ago. That tragedy.
Yes. Could you tell us any more about it? Well, let's talk to
these
him.
folks.
Your journey from Japan. So, how was the voyage here?
Well, 50 days at sea is a long time by anyone's standards.
Back it up just a tad there, package.
Okay. But it wasn't as bad as when we first came 16 years ago.
No, that's true. Then I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting in the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. This time, we followed the same route as you, so we were able to relax and enjoy the experience.
Ah, so you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris.
We did, yes, though only for one night. And yesterday evening, we left the point of Dunkirk for Dover.
Just in time for the symposium, in fact. It starts tomorrow. It's wonderful that you were invited to attend such an important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father.
It's thanks to Seishiro here. 16 years ago, he managed to integrate himself with Britain's Attorney General. I'm sure that's why he was invited. And I suppose you could say I'm something of an appendage by default.
Speak for yourself, Eugen. You were close friends with Professor of Forensic Science at a major hospital.
Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that up, really.
No. There's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back.
Dr. John H. Wilson. Kazuma's father, I suppose. Or him, too.
Kazuma's father.
Kazuma's father. The professor. The killer who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy. Was actually Kazuma's father, wasn't he?
That's correct. Genshin Asoji.
Genshin?
You knew, I presume, Father?
Ooh, look at those eyes.
Yes, he was a close friend at the time.
Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. I never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts.
It was a closed trial, so the public never knew the truth, and he was executed with little ado. To this day, very people know what really happened even in our homeland.
But what about Kazuma? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father?
No, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness.
However, I suspect he may have had his doubts.
Oh, why?
As you know, I tried to guide Kazuma growing up, as if he were my own son. Then one day, he came to my office at the university and said,
I've decided I want to travel to Great Britain and study there. Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death?
I don't know, but when I looked into his eyes, I did know that there was no way I'd be able to stop him.
Something else came to light in that trial the other day, actually.
Oh? What?
Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year, Kazuma's since turned up here in London, working as the apprentice of Lord Van Zeeks.
What? What? That's news to us.
Why is he sweating? So, Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part then. Alright, Kazuma's reappearance. As you know, we both thought Kazuma had died on the steamship during her voyage to Great Britain in January.
But he didn't die. He's alive. As you knew, didn't you, Father?
In actual fact, no. What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try to ascertain what had happened, but to no avail. But he's still alive? And here in London, you say? I never dared even to dream it. Why on earth did the young man not make contact? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now.
Well, it seems that he was suffering from amnesia.
What? Amnesia?
When we first came across him again here in London, he didn't know who either of us were.
I see.
He only regained his memory 8 days ago.
This is unbelievable. Yes, it's quite miraculous. I wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak with him urgently.
I wonder how Kazuma's been these past few days. Would it be wrong of us to go and visit him? Not at all, actually. Your time in Britain.
That began 16 years ago now. It's a distant memory, really. It was Eugene here. Genshin Soji, and myself. We were the original three. The first judicial scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean voyages were not what they are today, I can tell you.
16 years ago. Things were tough for their generation.
Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yuma University at the time, you know, young lady.
Yes, grandmother told me.
He went to do research at a great London hospital to study autopsy, practically unheard of in Japan. Yes, it was an eerie place, sandwiched between the back of a prison and a burial ground.
Ugh, not more talk of graves.
Very often, there's no one willing to deal with bodies following autopsy work. So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons.
Not my cup of tea at all.
Do you remember that Scottish prison governor? Caden, his name was. He was a good man.
And I got him.
Fine. Yes. But then, of course, in our 6th year here, everything changed with that dreadful case. When Jensen was arrested for a series of the most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I'd known the man for years. I was a witness at the secret hearing, and I tried to speak in his defense, but you went a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you? Well, suffice it to say that after the trial we were sent back to Japan. There was nothing more we could do to save Genshin. He was a lost cause, sadly.
Oh, what was that?
No shot bot TTV. Hi.
Well, if you'll excuse us now. Yes, I'd like to get this trunk up to my room as soon as possible.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have held you up here for so long.
I'll call for the porter then. Just wait here.
And there she goes. So Saddle-san's gone off at a run.
I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow.
I wonder if that's our good friend Big Willie Dubs.
Is it?
Well, in case it is... Buddy! I mean, it looks like he uses those emoticons quite a lot, so...
Yeah, it is.
Yes!
Big Willie Dubs is in the house!
All right, here we go. Yes, of course. It must be a big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck.
It's no shot bot now. Okay, cool.
Naruhodo, I hope you'll keep an eye on Susato for me. Keep looking after her as you obviously have been.
No shot bot. Got it. Oh no, I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me.
Well, I do appreciate you being there for her. After all, I've been a miserable father to her. I've thoroughly let her down.
Sorry? What do you mean?
Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here in Britain, as you know. The very year Susato was born.
Yes, I heard.
The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly, it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too.
Oh, yes. Susato-san hinted at something like that.
It was a rather turbulent time at home. Remember when she said that?
Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. The point is, I became rather less dependable than before, that befits a grown man. And it was then that Seishiro offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind, so perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me to London. So, that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dare. Though the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say.
And that's fucked up. I completely understand, Professor.
One other thing, Naruhodo. If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask you.
Oh, really? Of course. What can I do for you?
Well, the thing is,
I'm so sorry that took so long.
Mrs. Sato.
Now then, allow us to take your bags.
Allow me to take your bags. One moment, if you please, Porter. Of course, sir. That machine around your neck, it's a camera, I believe. Quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate a wonderful stay at the hotel, sir. Well, I think given the occasion, we could justify the expense. Yes, of course.
Jeez.
I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Miss Naruhodo. It's really made my father very happy, I think.
Oh, well, I'm pleased then. We were interrupted before. Professor Mekatoba was about to ask me something.
Shall we return to Baker Street then? I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us.
Yes, let's go. I'm getting more and more anxious about Kazuma, though. Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask after him.
Well, let's,
what the heck are we... Let's story mode dictate. New location has been added. I guess we're heading to the Lord Chief Justice's office. Da-da-da-da-da-da! Charge!
1st of November. British Supreme Court. Lord Chief Justice's office.
Here's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I've supplemented your original with the figures you've asked for from the yard.
I see. Excellent work. Thank you.
You're welcome, my lord.
What's Lord Van Zeek's doing here?
Why, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air, wouldn't you say?
This place is stifling enough as it is. We really don't need any more tension.
Uh-oh.
You're compromised. Go loud.
My apologies. I didn't notice you come in. Your small stature and dark dress make you all but invisible to me. Oh, no, it's entirely my fault for wearing black, I'm sure.
From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here.
Now then, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord? I'm right here. Kill me now. Is something wrong? Perhaps it's a little too hot in here for you. Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room at such a perfect temperature. If you're sure, the beads of sweat carving their way down your face seem to suggest otherwise. Those are the daggers you're staring at me with, mainly.
Mm-hmm.
As you're no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived in London earlier today, I hear, madam.
Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited.
I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room in your capable hands then, Lord Van Zeeks.
Maddie! Thank you so much for liking the stream.
And Briz has joined us too. I
Briz.
tip the hat to you as well. Man, it's a regular party in here.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's keep it coming, folks.
Eve.
Evening, Gov.
I will attend at once.
What the? Hey,
Give me the stink eye.
he gave you a very cold stare as he left, didn't he?
I know. I haven't done anything. Have I? These past few days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. My dedicated right hand of many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still of service?
Mr. Naruhodo, he's talking about Dr. Scythe.
Ah, of course. I'm terribly sorry about that. I'm just, fear not. You've done nothing wrong. Dr. Scythe's own wrongdoing precipitated the situation. You needn't concern yourself with it any further. That would be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me.
Yeah, man, look at those eyes.
Lord Van Zeeks is doing an admirable job of holding the fort. Though disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday. Oh, missing?
What's become of Cosmo-sama now?
Ugh, well, let's talk to this guy. The Forensic Science Symposium. Not long ago, visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million. 30 million? Are there even that many people in the world? Oh, yes, there are.
As a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, the population of the imperial capital Tokyo is 2 million.
I will be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making. 2 years of preparations and negotiations with other countries. Sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations. The 20th century will see the wholesale adoption of forensic investigation techniques, and cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential, which is why this landmark first symposium had to be hosted here at the heart of our great British Empire, in order that Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World. He's the same as ever, I see. That passion of his is quite something.
You're every bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure, Mr. Naruhodo.
I'm the only person in this country who truly cares about a future that embraces forensic science. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. So the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions.
Alright, so, chat, feel free to give us some feedback or chat us up for a little bit, huh?
Yep, I know that one of our Briz here actually told us that we were a little too heavy-handed in the speaking.
Yeah.
So that's why we've backed up a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
Forensic investigation team. I first established the forensic investigation team a year ago,
Good to hear, Briz.
experimentally to start with. With Dr. Scythe at the helm, it was steadily accruing an impressive record of achievement. It was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to a full-blown forensic investigation department. And can you not do that now? Obviously, no one wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Even I can't keep this story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years, I'd say. Unintended repercussions of our trial.
We simply couldn't have overlooked what had happened, though.
Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way.
Missing apprentice.
Alright, now we get to the nitty-gritty. About Lord Van Zeke's apprentice. Ah, yes, that came as a surprise to me, I must say, that you and he are old friends. How did he become an apprentice to Lord Van Zeke's in the first place? It came about 3 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel.
Oh my! So he stowed away to get here.
Alright, hold up. I am going to...
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm loading up my,
mind the grease.
Yes, mind the grease. No comments. No comments on the Facebook side.
All right, then.
Right. He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia too. Other than the fact he was clearly of Eastern descent, there were no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Zeke's. That way I could keep an eye on him. But then, why the mask? I didn't want to burden Lord Van Zeke's with tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern apprentice. Because it would be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask. He's proving to be a great help to Lord Van Zeke's. I have high hopes for his future. By the way, do you know where he's gone? No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being.
Oh,
I take it you also didn't know that the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean. Genshin Asogi. Kazuma's father's crimes. What we learned from that trial 8 days ago was a huge shock. Finding out my friend's father was... yes. Genshin Asogi. The professor case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain.
they were such awful murders and unprecedented, using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon.
And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then, and can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London.
The main motivation was to avoid aggravating relations between our two nations at the time, I understand.
Correct. However, it has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent cause. What? Supporters of a mass murderer? The majority of the man's victims were a blight on the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. Or so a fair few thinkers in London believed, anyway. Right, I see. Still murder, wasn't it?
It seems very similar, doesn't it? To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey.
Huh. Definitely silent on that front. All right, well, I guess we're moving.
Yep.
And we are moving to
Sholmes'
Suite. Da-da-da-da-da, charge!
Okay, now there's an Italian child and a French guy. You get the French guy.
Okay, roger that.
1st November, Sholmes Suite.
I forgot about those two doofuses.
Yep.
Well, what was that?
A man screaming in the most unflattering way.
Do you think... Could it have been Mr. Sholmes?
Oh my, I do hope not.
I don't do it anymore!
Mon ami, mon ami, mon ami. Stop this disgraceful display, huh? Who are these people? Look at their hair, it's bright red. What am I hearing about a weapon? Is Andy swinging his weapon around like a blunt object? oh, stop it.
I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes.
Right, you two, you're coming with me now, down to the clique.
No, not in prison. It's a dark dam and I don't like it.
Buff, the darkness, it is my friend. I am not scared.
But you're only scared of the dark.
Shut your mouth, you idiot! I will sit quietly in the dark and plan our next daring heist.
I don't like this. I don't like it.
Well, tough. We'll finish this down the yard. Now get moving. Bye there, Ginny. Have fun. Oh yeah, thanks, Iris. And thanks, you great detective.
Well. Gina makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Susie and Bruno.
Hello, Iris. We're home.
Well, did you find your daddy?
Yes, we arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend.
Oh, well that's great news. I hope I get to see my daddy again soon.
Ah, yes, of course.
Dr. John H. Wilson. So, Iris, all that remains now is the greatest of problems known to man. What the hell? But before we concern ourselves with that, I believe some tea is in order, don't you, my dear fellows? Is something wrong, Mr. Naruto? Do I have a crumb or such like on my face? Not so much on your face as on your head, I'd say.
Come along then, everyone. I've brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea.
Whatever is going on here today?
In that case, let us sit and drink now, for I am, in fact, expecting a guest later today.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Okay.
The eyebrows,
the
too.
eyebrows, too, yeah. Okay, what is going on? Okay, so who are those two knuckleheads?
Mr. Sholmes, who were the two gentlemen that were here before?
Oh, just a pair of petty criminals. Nothing of significance. Of course, they have to make a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all manner of infractions.
When the mood takes you?
All manner of infractions? But when such fellows set their sights on Mr. Sherlock Sholmes, well, that's when their luck runs out.
Oh my! You were the target of a crime, Mr. Sholmes?
But I quickly devised a plan to entrap them and deliver them to a young detective ally.
You should have asked Grexy to come too. We could have had an arresting tea party.
I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. the man is constantly in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a word for it, I'm sure. Gosh almighty, folks. We've played this game before. You have absolutely no idea just how right he really is.
Yup.
Stay tuned.
Yup.
Ah, I have it. A bungler. That's the word. It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that. So those redheads had been up to no good.
I wonder what the men did. Greatest problem.
What was that about the greatest of problems known to man that you mentioned before?
Is it another fiendishly intricate case, Mr. Sholmes?
How should I best explain it? Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural selection, perchance? Well, I think I've heard talk of it somewhere. Possibly.
It's a revolutionary scientific theory that was newly proposed 40 years ago now.
Yeah, and it's wicked.
According to its author, Mr. Darwin, we humans were once apes who lived in the treetops.
Mr. Charles Darwin, in fact.
Yup.
Wait, what? We were apes? Indeed. And from the very moment those apes descended from the canopy to live as humans, it has been our lot to be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man.
Our lot? What is this great problem, Mr. Sholmes?
Why, is it not obvious, my dear madam? The problem of rent.
Oh, God. But did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Tuspells only the other day?
Pshaw, a large sum? One potted herb for Iris and a new motor car for me later, and all of it has quite disappeared, I assure you.
Honestly, Hallie, you know you squandered it.
Yes, well, anyway, 2 days ago, I discovered the answer to man's greatest problem, for the coming month at least. And what was the answer? Why, there is a substantial clue before your very eyes.
Don't tell me. Let me see.
Humans are sorry creatures, unable to see what is in front of their noses. Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe me very closely. There is one particular feature about my person that has changed. You should notice it in the end, I think. In the end? It's been stabbing me in both eyes right from the very beginning of our conversation.
Oh, shit. I think we might need another clue before we uncover the full answer, Miss Naruhodo.
Thanks for the hint. Be tearing my hair out if this charade goes on much longer.
What's that paper doing there? Anyway, the lie you told.
Mr. Sholmes, isn't it about time you told us the truth? Just over a week ago, you said to us, I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that.
Time to spill the beans, detective.
That case aboard the SS Bury in January. Kazuma wasn't killed, and you knew he wasn't dead at the time. So what was really going on? The fellow was unconscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril. Of course, a side effect of the prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. It was a simple enough task to silence the crew. But how? After they'd carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them in the lobby area. Then I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse.
Ugh. Oh, how horrible!
It was necessary to find some material with which to persuade the crewmen to keep their word, of course. But why? Why do it in the first place? I will be at liberty to elaborate in due course. But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events. What events? His disappearance in Hong Kong.
Oh!
I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment. Mr. Sholmes. All right, well, let's take a look around. What is this?
This looks like last week's edition.
What's that article circled in red ink there?
It's in an advertisement column. It says, "To the Red-Headed League."
The Red-Headed League? What's that?
I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but...
Is something on my face? Clearly this has something to do with that lively hair. The Red-Headed League article has been entered into the court record.
An advertisement from the newspaper that's entitled "To the Red-Headed League." It seems somewhat suspicious in nature.
Well, let me take a peek at it.
Yeah, why not?
So let's take a look at the court record. So look at this. To the Red-Headed League, on account of the bequest of the late Ezekiel Hopkins of Lebanon, Pennsylvania, USA. There is now another vacancy open which entitles a member of the league to a salary of £4 a week for purely nominal services.
All red-headed men who are sound in body and mind. All red-headed men who are sound in body and mind and above the age of 21 years are eligible. Apply in person on the morning of the 31st at the Large Peak Park on Lime Street.
Interesting. Get £4 a week if you're a redhead.
Oh boy.
Interesting.
Well, why not present it to him?
Oh yeah. It looks as though someone circled an advertisement in this paper, Mr. Sholmes.
I never understood why it's always 21 and not 20.
I don't know either, dude.
Beats the hell out of me.
To the Red-Headed League. Does that strike you in some way? I was thinking that just maybe it might be related.
It's 20 in Japan. Interesting.
To your bright red hair. So, at last you've learnt to apply my methods, Mr. Naruto. Sorry? In the first instance, and quite indispensable, observation. Believe me, I could have seen that hair with my eyes shut.
Although in Japan, 18 is nothing.
So then, allow me to regale you with the details of my latest exploits. Regale or boast? You're basically a kid until 20.
Oh, I see.
Well, depending on how you conduct yourself, sometimes you're not even sometimes you're a kid till you're 35. It's all in presentation, folks.
Yep.
So the Red-Headed League, what's this about? So what is the Red-Headed League, which seems to be the subject of the advertisement you've circled? You noticed it in the paper then? That, my dear fellow, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment. I should know, I am 35. 39. 39 here. It was? How? According to the advertisement, the Red-Headed League is a distinguished institution of fellows of unspecified governance. In fact, the only condition for becoming a member is having red hair. That doesn't entirely surprise me.
But listen to what the lucky redheads receive once they join. An unconditional salary of £4 a week.
Oh my! £4 a week!
But why? What are they paying people for? That I don't know. No details are given in the advertisement.
But surely every red-headed person in the country would be flocking and join in that case.
You're right, Susie. There's no time to lose. I'll put in my application at once.
So will I. Just on the off chance.
That might be stretching a point, I think.
The trouble is, they have a fixed number of members, you see.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see. So once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can. But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away.
What? It wasn't particularly lucky for the redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Sholmes.
4 pounds a week goes to inflation calculator.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm almost scared to ask. So you decided to try to join in his place. Correct. I mean, look at me. Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow? No. So why? Why did it have to go so wrong? What on earth happened? 422 pounds a week today.
Wow.
Not bad at all.
Absolutely.
A blunder, Mr. Naruto. Though it pains me to admit it. Your blunder.
What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes?
I'm glad you asked, Mr. Sato. What you see atop my head is neither dyed nor a hairpiece. I changed the color of my hair overnight by the wonders of chemistry. Chemistry?
$552
USD.
Not bad at all.
Indeed. I was conducting some research into a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves, and in the course of my work, I stumbled upon a potion that, when taken, turns one's hair a flame-like red. Would you like to try it? It will make every hair on your body perfectly crimson. I think I'll pass.
But Mr. Sholmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it?
Amateurs are always hampered by such fears.
Oh, I should never have doubted you, Mr. Sholmes. You mean to say...
But of course, to earn 4 pounds per week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to a little danger. That degree of red signals more than just a little danger, surely.
So anyway, Harry left full of confidence yesterday with his new red hair. For the park on Lime Street where the Red-Headed League were interviewing prospective new members.
So what went wrong? The whole park was choked with red-headed folk, like a Costa's orange barrow. I queued for 8 hours solid before at last I reached the front. When the panel of interviewers saw me, they immediately said, "Ah, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes, are you in disguise to conduct an investigation?" So naturally, I had no choice but to reply, "Shh, don't give me away." After which I could do little else but turn and leave. Then this morning, when I looked in the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned that pair in to the police.
Oh dear, what a disaster for Hurley and those two redheads.
Huh, that's weird. Ding, ding, ding.
Ring, 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 it's phone.
Aha! Here is my guest now, my latest client, with money to spend.
Woo! I do hope it's an exciting case, Hurley.
Remember, Iris, we are at present gripped by the greatest problem known to man. I must be willing to accept any case, no matter how unstimulating, save locating a runaway, of course. Don't spare anyone's feelings, will you?
Oh dear, I'm afraid that Hurley can lack a little tact, especially just before the rent is due.
Twat!
Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes, please, oh please. Please find my husband. He's run away.
To upset me?
I beg your pardon.
Never mind. A personal matter. My apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Mr. Naruto? I didn't say a word. Come, my dear madam. Be seated. Iris some tea, if you please.
Of course.
What's the matter, Mr. Sato?
Oh, it's just that gentlewoman. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before. Very recently.
Yup, she was a juror.
Yup. Juror number 2.
Yes, now you come to mention it.
As I explained earlier, my name is Evie Vigil. I implore you to take the case, sir. Money is no object. Simply name your figure.
Money and wealth are of little consequence to me, madam. Being offered a case to solve is reward enough.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you are the picture of benevolence.
I will, of course, make a mental note of your offer, however, for contingent reasons. I trust you will remember your words also.
If I might inquire, sir. This gentleman and lady would be...
Oh, me?
What I am about to tell you, I should like to communicate in the strictest confidence, you understand?
Ah, these are my friends. I assure you, you may say before this pair anything which you may say to me.
Ah, I see.
I can vouch for the gentleman personally. After all,
If I might inquire, sir, what the F is that with that hair?
he's hard of hearing. Why did I ever get my hopes up? All right,
Let's talk
to her. Mrs. Vigil. Forgive me for asking, Mrs. Vigil, but have we met somewhere before? Quite recently, perhaps?
Oh my!
Sure. My dear fellow, what is your intention? Clearly you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. If you wish to invite the lady to tea, you must do so in a more gentlemanly fashion.
Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from the trial I attended last week?
Ah, I know I recognized her.
To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly. It sent shivers down my spine.
I didn't quite recognize her because she's acting so differently now.
It must be very difficult for you as a lawyer. Being hard of hearing, I mean.
Pardon?
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was frippery, really, nothing more.
Now look what you've started, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you very much. I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quietly in the corner. Yes. All right.
Now, Mr. Vigil.
Tell us about your husband, madam.
Mr. Vigil, my daily, is 40 years of age. I have a photograph here.
Handsome chap. An entirely unremarkable gentleman. By appearance, at least. How long have you been married?
It will be 15 years this year. We have a cordial relationship, and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live quite comfortably.
As it would appear, I need only look at you to know these things.
Oh gosh.
Your dress is the latest style, your hat clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are animated. In short, you have no inkling as to why your husband might have disappeared, correct?
That's right. He's a kind man with a strong sense of loyalty, and he rather dotes on me.
Which would point to the possibility that he has become embroiled in some incident or other.
Oh, that is exactly what I fear must have happened, Mr. Sholmes. I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see. What if he's incurred some miscreant's ill will?
What exactly is your husband's line of work?
He he's a warder at the prison.
A guard? That is somewhat unusual.
Prison warder.
So, your husband is a prison warder.
That's right, yes. Well, in actual fact, he's the chief warder.
Indeed, I see. Well, chief prison warder certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation.
Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must prepare those dreadful punishments and see that they're carried out.
Dreadful punishments? Does she mean capital punishments?
Oh boy.
And at such times, he must occasionally spend a night or two in the prison dormitory. But for that extra responsibility, he is remunerated more handsomely than the other warders.
My apologies for that.
Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to the neighbors.
Yes, I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, at what prison is your husband engaged?
Berkeley Prison, Mr. Sholmes.
Oh. Really? Berkeley? Oh, a fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there is a large cemetery just behind it.
Yes, that's correct. Lowgate Cemetery.
Well, well.
Huh? No! Lowgate Cemetery? The very place we were discussing in court!
Uh-oh.
That's unbelievable!
What?
What? Unbelievable, my dear fellow, and yet undeniable.
Sorry, Mr. Sholmes. I'm afraid you've lost me.
Ah, pay no heed, madam, pay no heed. A private matter. This can't really be a coincidence, can it?
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh.
Your husband's disappearance.
So, to the matter of your husband's disappearance. When did you realize he was missing?
Please try not to laugh. It was yesterday.
I'm sorry. Yesterday? That really is recent. Laughably so.
The truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away for his work. It's not at all out of the ordinary for him not to return home at night, but this is different. For him not to make any contact for a whole day. That has certainly never happened before. Oh, my dear Daly, whatever could have happened?
My dear Mrs. Vigil, please calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted the police?
Why, naturally, but sadly, they refuse to listen to my pleas as my husband has only been missing for one day. I was asked to wait patiently at home.
In truth, Mrs. Vigil, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage my deductive powers to track your husband down anyway.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes.
Furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. Yeah, right. I seek only to put a sweet smile on another Londoner's face. That's really all there is to it.
You have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention.
You seek only to put this sweet's rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it. Oh boy. Thank you for everything you have shared with us, Mrs. Vigil. I believe I have all the information I need to begin my investigation.
Oh, please report to me soon with good news, sir.
Fear not, madam. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with a heartening report, I am quite sure.
So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholmes.
Good news should be delivered early, I always say. If you would be so kind as to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession. Photograph of Mr. Vigil has been entered into the court
A
record.
photographic print received from Mrs. Vigil in order to aid with locating her missing husband. He appears to have no particularly distinctive facial features.
Thank you. Now, allow me to show you the door.
I can't thank you enough, Mr. Sholmes. You've been simply marvelous.
And there she goes.
You know, I think it every time, Hurley. But how did you come out with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two. Are you sure?
I can't be sure, of course. But then I didn't swear on it, despite having borrowed his wife's hair rollers. Maybe. I merely gave the good woman some hope. I hope to be able to give her good news, one might say. After all, the rent must be paid by the end of day tomorrow. If by that time I've successfully located Mr. Vigil, we shall be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Don't look at me with those pleading eyes. Well, my dear fellow, did you hear the details of the case? Yes, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually. Excellent. And what did you make of it? Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. Barclay Prison, I mean. Ah, so you noted that.
Of course, especially with the mention of Lowgate Cemetery.
Lowgate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison. So it was renowned among us students at the university for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts.
Barclay Prison is where that notorious man was incarcerated.
The professor. And now a warder from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, it would seem. It's all very peculiar. Indeed. But nothing you can't handle, I'm quite certain, Miss Naruhodo. Sorry? Run along to the prison and see what you can glean, would you? It's the prison governor you want. No doubt the man is equally worried. But aren't you going to go yourself? Surely you needn't ask. I can't possibly be seen out with this hair. But didn't you go to Lime Street with that hair? That was quite a different matter. So I leave it in your capable hands. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm rather busy. Adieu. Of course you are.
Looks like we want to take a break real quick.
You have to use the facilities.
I do.
Well, while he does that, I'm actually going to look around here to keep things going. So,
Okay, be right back.
all right, let's look at it, and I'm gonna imitate the voices that I can. So let's see, what's this mask? The mask Kazuma wore when he was assigned to Lord Van Zeeks as his apprentice. When he cast it aside after the trial the other day, I just sort of picked it up. We ought to give it back to him, I suppose. But he has his memory back now, doesn't he? And I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me coldly to wear it myself. But isn't he your best friend? She has a point. Now, what is this? I do like this fireplace. It's one of the best things I've seen since we arrived in the country, in fact. Although, I do yearn for a Japanese kotatsu. Putting your legs under a warm blanketed table is so comforting. Do be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Don't mistakenly put your feet into the fire, will you? You'd suffer terrible burns, you know. Ugh. I worry sometimes about how Sasada-san sees me. He's a total klutz. Ah, yes, Mr. Sholmes' curious collection of trinkets from the various mysteries he solved. It's one of my favorite parts of this room, full of items with such exciting tales to tell, and I do believe he's added to it since I last looked. Now there's a mysterious pince-nez, a mysterious little box, a mysterious horseshoe, a mysterious biscuit. I think that last one might just be one of Iris's unfinished snacks. I was in the supermarket today and I found cheese and pepperoni flavored sausages. They called them pizza dogs. I felt sick. Ugh, my apologies, my friend. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, pizza dogs. What do we got over here? Ah, the Stradivarius. This is Mr. Sholmes' famous violin. The one he found being sold for a song at a pawnbrokery. What's it called again? Shoddy something. Oh yes, this wonderful instrument features in the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. It's a world-famous Stradivarius. Strata what? Stradivarius, Mr. Naruhodo. Stradivort? Are you even trying now? I'll come back to this another time, I think. Experimenting with fresh meat like it's a flavor of potato chips. Have you ever tried pork rinds, my friend? They're a delicacy here in the States.
Oh, yeah.
And we're back. So, let's go back. All right, so where are we going now? A new location has been added. We're headed to the prison governor's office. Da-da-da-da-da! Charge! Barclay Prison is on the outskirts of London, backing onto a lonely burial ground. Its 4 high outer walls loomed quietly before us in the fog. Having requested a meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower.
Pork scratchlings, I believe they're called here. 1st November, Barclay Prison, governor's office.
Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, wrong song. This place is full of hardened criminals. I can't even remember the last time a civilian was down here. And you didn't want to talk to an inmate, but to me. Okay. You can know who I am. I'm the governor. Barricading. Oh, yes. It's a pleasure. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer. And an Easterner, I see. Does that mean? Yes. I'm a visiting student of law from the Empire of Japan. Japan? Did you say Japan? Yes? Well, there's no any other kind in here, laddie. Maybe you should try the prison next door, eh?
I didn't notice another prison next door, sir.
Anyway, we came to ask you some questions about... I didn't like to be so direct, but I've no intention of speaking with the likes of your suspicious-looking Easterners. Now get out of my hair. So as soon as he finds out that we're from Japan, he reacts like this. Pork scratchings, I believe they're called here.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. That surely means...
I think it's because of the professor case.
You think so too? 10 years ago, Genshin Asogi, also known as the Professor, was incarcerated at this prison. And then after his execution, he apparently re-emerged from his grave in the cemetery behind the prison. I might have known. You're snuffing around boot that case, are ya? Your agents, eh? Part of the Professor's great web, no doubt. No, not at all. We're just... Get going with you before I punch your lights out. We're going. Clearly, the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. We're not going to get anywhere here unless we can somehow prove to this man that there's nothing suspicious about us.
Governor Caden?
What are you thinking, Mrs. Sato?
I feel sure that name came up in conversation recently somewhere. I was wondering if whoever mentioned him might have some ideas to help us.
Come to think of it, I have the same feeling.
Dr. Mikatoba, perhaps?
Alright, well, so now we're moving. Back to the Great Waterloo Hotel. Da-da-da-da-da-da, charge!
What the? Okay,
Okay,
let's talk to him.
let's see. Nothing else here, so... That's Professor Mikatoba over there.
Ah, hello, you two. I was just taking a moment to catch us on the world now that I'm unpacked.
But where's Judge Jigoku?
Yes, he's not the relaxing sort. He's taken himself off to pay his respects to all the legal bigwigs.
Having only just arrived in the country today? Goodness, he is full of energy.
Professor, you mentioned something before about how you'd known the prison governor at Barclay Prison.
Oh, Governor Caden, you mean?
So it is the same man.
Father, we must speak with the governor. But he refused to talk to us. He said we were suspicious Easterners.
Well, I'm sure if I accompanied you, it would be a very different story.
Oh, would you? That would be wonderful. If you have time now.
Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment.
Busy drinking coffee on a comfortable settee?
Now, I have rather a lot to prepare for tomorrow, you know.
Oh, sorry. I didn't say that out loud, did I? You Mikitobas are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts.
Or could it be that you Naruhodos are alarmingly bad at hiding your thoughts?
Let's not fall out now. I have an idea.
What might that be, Dr. Mikitoba?
I gotta hydrate. What's he writing on that piece of paper?
Here's a letter of introduction for you. Hopefully, when he sees my name, he'll change his tune.
Ah, thank you. Letter of introduction has been entered into the court record.
Note of introduction on our behalf from Professor Mikitoba to Governor Caden. Hopefully now he'll be willing to talk to you guys.
Good luck, then.
Can we talk to him about that favor, perhaps? Let's read this note. Okay. Professor Mikitoba has wonderful handwriting, doesn't he? This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. Is it just me, or does that make me sound extremely untrustworthy?
I do wish he'd at least called you a nice young man.
I'm really not sure that would help.
Look to the back.
What the hell? He wrote it on the back of his parking ticket, or his boat ticket.
Oh, it looks like this is some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Grouse, first class cabin 001. Yokohama departure 11th September. London arrival 1st November.
Hell of a voyage. Ah, that's the boat that Professor Mikitoba and Judge Jigoku came on from Japan, isn't it?
Yes, I think it called at Dunkirk on the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover.
To think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Buria. Seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think?
Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary.
And I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, well, how strange. Where could it have gone?
Are you like this on purpose, Miss Naruhodo?
Did I imagine it, or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? Details of the letter of introduction have been updated in the court record.
It was written in the back of a ticket for a passage on a steamship.
Okay. Well, I know where we're going now. We don't have to do story mode anymore. Going back to the governor's office. Ta-da-da-da-da-da! Charge! Alright. If you just cast your eyes over this, Governor Caden. What's this, then? You can't pull a wool over my eyes, you good-for-nothing Japanese student. Mikitoba? That young jock in the forensics laboratory? That Mikitoba? Yes, exactly, him.
Oh dear, perhaps I should have said something sooner. I'm Yuji Mikitoba's daughter, Susato.
Jinx! You're the young man's daughter. And you didn't think to mention it afore.
I do apologize.
Aye, well, you'd best take a seat then. And offer you a cup of tea, perhaps. And didn't forget to try one of these wee handcuff biscuits. Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing.
I'm bitterly regretting not announcing who I was from the outset now.
So then, what can I do for you, hun?
Well, we're currently investigating a case.
It's one of your warders, you see. He's gone missing. Missing?
That's right. It's surely been reported to you as well, being the prison governor.
hadn't heard nothing of the sort. There's no missing persons in my prison.
Oh,
But how can that be?
it's Mr. Daily Vigil, your chief warder.
Eh? Vigil. That's right. His wife came to us and asked us to investigate his disappearance. Let's skip the part about him only going missing yesterday for now. Clearly, that means something to him.
Would you be so kind as to tell us what you know, sir?
Aye, of course. All right, let's talk to him. Chief Warder Vigil. We understand that Mr. Vigil is the chief warder here at the prison. Hey, that he was. Strong sense of responsibility and dedicated to the job. No doubt about it. He's a fine warder. Sorry, did you say was? Hey, he doesn't work here no more. He left the job.
Oh my!
When was this exactly? There's a question. When was it about? Can't have been much less than, 10 years ago now.
What?
Huh? 10 years ago? He stopped working here 10 years ago? Hey, as I mind it, I hadn't heard the fella's name in all that time. That's a worry if he's gone missing though. But Mrs. Vigil made no mention of it.
I think perhaps, Mr. Naruhodo, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here.
Governor Caden, can you tell us what happened? Why did Mr. Vigil give up his job here? That's important, is it? Yes, I believe it may be.
What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo?
I can't help wondering, given that it was 10 years ago.
Ah!
Which was exactly when the professor was being held at this prison. 10 years ago.
So, Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position of chief warder 10 years ago, you're telling us?
I don't think that's the word for it.
What happened to make him leave the job?
In actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter. You mean he was dismissed? It was after a particular walk. Sorry? A walk? Hey, that's your word for it in here. A walk to the gallows. An execution. It's the job of the chief warder to prepare the gallows tree and oversee any executions you see. Only, Vigil did something unthinkable in that last walk he was manning.
What did he do?
I'm sorry, but I can't reveal that information. But I can tell you that it's very rare for a chief warder to be relieved of his post. But why wouldn't Mrs. Vigil know about it? She appears to be under the impression that her husband still works here. I wouldn't have known anything about that, I'm afraid.
Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances of his dismissal?
What will that be, Hen?
That last execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing.
Strap in, kids.
Buckle up, boneheads. Was it by any chance the professor's?
My thoughts exactly. I'm sorry. I really am. I'm not at liberty to answer that.
I see.
Oh boy, well, then that means yes. Professor Mikatoba.
My father came to Britain all those years ago in order to study forensic medicine, but you seem to have been well acquainted.
The dead room, the prison, and the cemetery have a lot to do with one another. After all, they need fresh corpses for forensic research. You can... Yes, I can imagine.
The advancement of medical science isn't always particularly palatable.
father worked in a laboratory just on the far side of the graveyard, in the basement of St. Sinners, still in use today. St. Sinners, that's come up before, I'm sure.
Yes, that's right. We've been there.
Nickatoba and I oft used to ride in a carriage together and negotiate terms. For more fresh material, I suppose. Hey, and we used to sit in here for hours and gab on about dissection all sorts. Oh, takes me back. Or a pot of tea and a plate of cuff biscuits, of course.
How charming.
He's a good fella, your father. Reliable, a dead set on his work. When afraid, I'll never understand you Japanese. Because of Genshin Asogi, I suppose.
Oh boy.
Well, I can't tell you anything else.
Thank you so much for your time, Governor.
Oh, one moment of worrying away, and... what is it? I'm sure I have it here somewhere. Right. Ah, found it. Here, take this as a wee souvenir of your visit to the prison.
What is it?
That's Vigil's dismissal notice. 10 years old new, of course.
Oh my, are you sure?
Aye, it's no trouble at all. It's not the original mind. Vigil's dismissal notice has been entered into the court
A
record.
harsh reprimand incurred by Mr. Vigil 10 years ago that resulted in him losing his job as chief warder of Barclay Prison.
Thank you very much, Governor Caden. Well, in return, do me a favor and never come back here. That case is closed. There you go.
Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being.
Yes, I agree. We need to report back to Mr. Sholmes with what we found out about Mr. Vigil. Well, what will he tell Mrs. Vigil, I wonder? I'm going to look at this clock real quick here. Ah, look. We have an opportunity here now while the governor is away.
Mr. Alhodo, you could be in prison if you were caught.
That's a good point. Perhaps not, then. Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. All right, so I suspect that we're going to go back to Baker Street, but I'm just double checking.
Yes, we are.
Back to Sholmes' suite. Pork scratchlings. 1st of November, Sholmes' suite. We're back. Hello, you two.
Hello, you two. I thought you'd be back for long, so I baked some scones for us all.
Ah, so that's what the delicious smell is. Greetings, my dear fellows. You've returned a good deal sooner than I was anticipating. Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
Say nothing. Your thoughts are written all over your faces in any case. Turns out that it may have been advisable to test my hair color restoration tonic before application.
Oh my.
Pray, tell me, what of our warder friend? Have you garnered some new information? Oh, yes. Something very surprising, in fact. Well, it's not a patch on your hair, to be honest.
It most certainly isn't. But still, we discovered that...
Sholmes! Drop everything, Sholmes. This is more important.
Gina?
I can't believe it.
What's happened?
Clearly a very grave matter indeed. For Miss Lestrade made no mention of my hair whatsoever.
It's a boss.
What do you mean? Inspector Gregson?
The boss is He's dead.
What? No!
I just found his body, shot with a pistol.
What? What? What's going on here? No! No! Not him! Gregson! For God's sakes, no! But, Inspector Gregson? He was murdered?
No, not Grexy.
Come in, my dear girl. Tell us the whole story.
All right, talk to her.
Yeah, we gotta talk to her. The inspector's death. Are you serious, Gina? Inspector Gregson was really shot?
I don't know much about what happened myself yet. They're still there, investigating the scene.
Where did this take place?
A little rented room in a building full of flats on Fresno Street.
The outskirts of town. Nowhere near his home. He was perhaps investigating a case then.
Thing is, no one at the yard knows nothing about no case round there.
Oh, how strange.
The boss was so good to me. I know I ain't up to much yet, but one day I was gonna show him. I'd become a proper detective.
Oh, Ginny.
The culprit.
So,
Who did this? Do you have any idea who the culprit is?
I got him already.
Already? They caught the shooter so soon?
The witness reported something was going on. The boys got straight down there and took care of him.
Who? What awful person did this?
Buckle up, boneheads.
Mm-hmm.
I still can't believe it myself.
Gina?
It was a raper.
Wait a minute! You don't mean they've arrested Lord Van Zeeks for it?
That's right. That raper bloke's gone and shot the boss.
No! Lord Van Zeeks? What in the... What? Okay, I got a question. You got a question?
Yeah, I got a question. Why don't you ask?
What the heck is going on here? Are you quite sure, Miss Lestrade? It's Barrack Van Zeeks the police have arrested?
I saw him with my own eyes in the interview room at the yard.
I don't believe it.
But there were witnesses, and they were all saying it was him.
So you mean there were actually multiple witnesses?
They heard a gunshot, apparently. When a lot got to the scene, there was only a boss and that raper bloke in the room.
But there's no way Lord Van Zeeks would have taken Gregson's life. I just don't believe it.
I don't believe it either.
Holy shit.
Oh, no.
Thank you for informing us, Mrs. Strad. This really is most terrible news. I'm dreadfully sorry.
What are you saying sorry for? You didn't do nothing. Well, anyway, I'm taking a cab over the scene right now. Please come in all as soon as you can. You gotta help.
Well, she's gone. Holy shit. Never seen her so upset. It's a detective's lot to appear wherever some sinister plot is unfolded. Little wonder we all look haggard. Sometimes these things are almost too much for the nerves. Mr. Sholmes. What use is there of being a great detective if I fail to see something like this coming? How could I let this happen to Gregson? Inspector Gregson! Mr. Narhado, I shall leave at once to begin my investigations. Of course, yes, we will too. It would be helpful if you could talk to Mr. Reaper and see what you can glean. I'm sure you were intending to do so anyway. Until later, then. There he goes. Inspector Gregson, dead. And Lord Van Zeek's arrested.
Bruno, Susie, I've called your hansom. It's waiting outside.
Thanks, Iris. Shall we, Mr. Sato?
Yes!
Alright, where's the story gonna take us? New location has been added. I guess we're going to the prison to talk to the Reaper. Here we go. 1st of November, local prison, cell 1. We'll imagine that. There he is. Lord Van Zeek's behind bars.
So it's true. He really was arrested.
He's sitting with his back to the wall, reading something. I don't think he's noticed us. Lord Van Zeek's.
Fancy meeting you here. The last place on Earth I'd like to be, with the last person on Earth I'd like to see.
I couldn't very well not come. We heard what happened. That Inspector Gregson was...
Go home. This has nothing to do with you.
But...
Forgive me, Lord Van Zeeks, but I must disagree. Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're indebted to him. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. You must help us out with our investigations, please!
There's really nothing I can tell you.
What were you just reading at the back of the cell there? Was it something related to the case?
This? The Yard isn't quite so cavalier with its information as to share case details with the suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance.
Oh, who might that be? Hold on a minute.
What are you guys up to this weekend? We'll talk to him later, but yep. If you're watching, we'll get back to you.
Oh, who might that be?
Someone you know, as it happens. Albert Hairbrain.
Of course, yes. I keep forgetting they went to the same university.
And I would like to read my correspondence in peace. So let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know?
Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Van Zeeks never minces his words, but they seem to have less bite than usual somehow.
Let's talk to him.
Let's talk to him. What happened? Can you at least tell us your side of the story, Lord Van Zeeks? What happened?
How much do you already know?
We know that the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room on Fresno Street.
And that you were found there by the police when they arrived on the scene and immediately arrested.
We were told that there was nobody else in the room and that some witnesses heard the gunshot.
Then you're well informed, and there's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself.
But the gunshot! Obviously you didn't fire the gun, did you?
I'm not in the habit of shooting the people I work alongside. I also heard the noise. However, before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers.
So he doesn't actually know what happened.
If I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with?
I don't need to answer that.
Oh,
After all, you're not representing me.
He is going to need a lawyer, though. Your defense. Who is going to be representing you in court, Lord Van Zeeks?
Anyone other than you, I should imagine.
Would I be right in assuming that you have no representation as yet? Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know.
But this is different.
In my career, of all the defendants I've prosecuted, only 19 have I ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now.
Surely not.
I assure you, no defense lawyer will want to touch me with the end of a barge pole.
But you didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, did you?
It's been 10 years now that I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of this killer more than I. However, it seems things may have come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that.
What does he mean by that? Professor Harebrain's letter. After the trial, Professor Harebrain was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought.
It's a letter to inform me of his safe arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper.
Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad, you mean?
Yes, so it seems. Your astute little Nipponese friend, for example. You told me he was keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day.
Yes, that's right. He's an author now, happily working in Tokyo.
So Professor Albert Harebrain is safely back in Germany now? He is. So, it appears our conversation has run dry.
There was a 2-second silence, that's all.
Well, in any event, if you'll excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you.
I was wondering, Lord Van Zieks, if you'd like, I'd be happy to advocate for you.
You trust me, do you?
Yes. I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people. So I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. It's just, my feelings can't be used as evidence in a court of law, sadly.
It's a very gracious offer. However,
I trust no one. What?
not the police, not the judiciary, and not you, Nipponese.
But please!
I have no intention of engaging your services.
Chasm between us is just too wide and too deep, it seems.
I'd appreciate it if you don't visit again. Then neither of us will waste any more time.
Well, there you go. Perhaps we need to dig a little deeper and find out more about Lord Van Zieks and what happened to Inspector Gregson. Well, we know what we're doing now. We're going to the seat of the crime.
That's right, folks.
Charge! Charge! 1st of November, room on Fresno Street. Oh boy.
Wow,
This really is an out-of-the-way part of London. I doubt many people find their way down this back street. So this dust-ridden rented old room is where it happened then.
So this is where poor Inspector Gregson lost his life.
Yes. The police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere, though. Perhaps his investigations have taken him elsewhere.
Oi! What do you think you're doing there? Every one of them drawers has got to be taken right out so you can look underneath and all. I want a space above this ceiling checked, and don't forget to look inside the chimney stack too. Blimey, ain't you lot never going over a house looking for dough when the owner's out of town?
Gina's obviously got some unique investigative techniques she wants everyone to adopt.
Oh, so you turned up at last. Mind you, I ain't been here long myself.
Hello again, Gina.
Sholmes has only just left. You're lucky you missed that. They went prancing around in here, pointing at stuff and flicking it at us, and then just scarpered.
Oh, he's finished investigating already, you mean?
Yeah, he didn't stop to say nothing to no one. Not even me.
Gina, would you mind if we investigate it too?
Listen, Otto. You're a lawyer, right?
Yes. Why?
Well, you're not thinking of trying to help that Reaper bloke, are you?
Oh, poor Gina. She's never gonna forget, is she? That trial will haunt her forever.
Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Van Zeeks really is responsible for this crime, he will be duly and fairly judged in court.
Suppose you're right, yeah. Go on then, Otto. Get investigating. I want to know the truth about what really happened here.
Thank you, Gina. Well, let's talk to her first. Inspector Gregson. Gina, what was Inspector Gregson doing here in the first place?
That's what I want to know. It's what? Half a year since I got out of the clink? That's why I decided to give up me diving and become a detective instead.
Oh yes, Mr. Sholmes twisted the inspector's arm to agree to take you on as an apprentice, did he?
Something like that, I think. Anyway, the point is, I didn't really know much about the boss till then. Turns out, he's a bit of a legend at the yard.
Goodness, really?
So he managed to solve some really tricky case. Just like that.
He did?
Yup. And ever since then, he started going out on all sorts of investigations, but always on his own. No one else at the yard even knows what half the cases he's working on are, apparently.
That's not how it's supposed to work, is it? So what was the legendary inspector doing in a dingy little room like this?
I know he had a lot of respect for the Reaper and all, and look where that landed him.
Respect for the Reaper? In what way?
I heard him say as much. I take my hat off of that fella, were his words.
Not how the general public feels, is it? Most people are terrified of the Reaper.
Yeah, the boss said that's exactly why he respected the bloke.
I didn't realize Gregson held the Reaper in quite such high regard.
He said something else to me and all, that I didn't need to worry a bit of Reaper, cause he only goes after people what are bad. It kind of set my mind at ease when he said that.
Right. The crime scene. What is this place then? Does anyone live here?
Apparently it's being rented by some cub called Hugh Boone.
Hugh Boone?
It's a sort of here today, gone tomorrow name, that, isn't it?
Yeah, he's what we call an unidentified person. I haven't been able to get in touch with him.
I see. Well, judging from appearances, I have to say this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever.
Right? All the lads from the yard piled in to get stuck in the investigation. There's so little here, no one knew what to do with themselves.
I do wonder.
Yes, Mrs. Sato?
Well, could it be that this Hugh Boone is in fact Inspector Gregson himself?
What? How could that be?
Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible that this was in fact some kind of secret office of his.
I never even considered that.
Nice work, Suze. We're actually following the line of inquiry like that ourselves.
You are?
If you look around the room, you'll see a few things that hint at it.
We should really investigate this place in detail. And then the incident.
I see that's where the poor inspector was found, over there.
Yeah, that's right. They said it was a single bullet what did him in. apparently the bullet went right through him and struck that candle tray on the wall.
Oh yes, it's blown one of the candles apart completely.
And the gun used is there on the floor. It's a Reaper's in it, no denying that.
What? Really?
How do you know that?
Take it easy. I don't know what to do with myself when you stare at me with them big wide eyes. I'm only saying what I've heard. I don't know much about guns myself. There's some bigwig lawman or whatever who said so. Why don't you ask him?
A bigwig lawman, is it?
Anyway, Bednar Street runs along under that window there. There were some street sellers just outside who heard the gunshot.
Oh, but I don't recall seeing anybody outside.
Yeah, we've all been taken down to the yard for questioning, that's why. We're talking about the yard's legendary inspector here, after all. They'll be getting a grilling.
You think we might be able to speak with those street sellers ourselves?
Doubt it. Y'all just want to know what you're snooping around for, and you'll be up for a grilling and all.
So we can't interview the witnesses then. Shame. Alright, let's take a look around. What's this?
This looks like some sort of notice board or something.
And it's absolutely covered in scraps of paper.
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, look!
This you mean? It's an autopsy report, isn't it?
And these are the case notes here, and details of prison inmates.
Yes. In fact, they're all the sort of documents that only a detective could normally acquire. What on earth went on in this room?
Some old newspaper cuttings. Ah, and this one here.
Oh yes, the advertisement you mean. To the Red-Headed League. But why? What's that doing here?
Whoever occupied this room was clearly interested in it for some reason.
What is this?
Oh, it's a photograph stand. I suppose it must be a picture of one of Inspector Gregson's family members. Ah!
What's the matter? Your eyes look like they're about to pop out of your head.
They are! Look, Mr. Naruhodo, quickly!
What the? Why do I feel like this woman is familiar somehow?
Of course she's familiar. We met her only this morning.
Ah! It's Mrs. Vigil! Huh? What the hell is her picture doing here? Something doesn't seem right, kids.
I smell some fish.
Absolutely. And it's not the good kind either.
This makes no sense. Why would there be a picture of Mrs. Vigil in here?
To be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped.
I'm sorry to say, I have no idea either.
Framed photograph has been entered into the court record.
Photographic print of a smiling Mrs. Vigil in her younger years. It was found on a desk at the scene of the crime.
How interesting. Excuse me.
Inspector. Oh, sir?
Poor man. He can't possibly be able to focus on investigating when he's so upset. What's this? Excuse me.
Sorry, sir. Can't see a thing, sir. 2 minutes here, sir.
Right. Perhaps I'd better leave you to your work then.
Let's look at the body.
Yeah, let's take a look at this gun. This is presumably the murder weapon then.
Oh my! It is real, I suppose.
I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them.
There's only one way to know for sure, Mr. Naruhodo. Fire a shot!
No! If I did that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. Slightly safer just to ask someone who might know, I think. Killer's revolver has been entered into the court record.
Bird weapon that was found at the scene of the crime on Fresno Street. Probably best to avoid handling it.
And don't forget, a bigwig lawyer man would know whose revolver that was, right?
Right.
So I've got an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Later. What is this? Oh, what's this?
It would appear to be a little model policeman. It's rather charming, isn't it? In a way.
Seeing as it's on the floor here, do you think it belonged to Inspector Gregson?
It's a little hard to imagine Lord Van Zeke's playing with something like this.
It's only about 8 centimeters tall. Could have fallen out of someone's pocket, I suppose. I think we should record it as evidence, just in case.
Yes, I agree. It is rather delightful after all, in a way.
Policeman figurine has been entered into the court record.
A small and rather endearing model of a British policeman found at the scene of the crime on Fresno Street.
Well, why don't we take a look at it? Something tells me that there's more than meets the eye on this thing.
The helmet of this charming policeman appears to be a little worse for wear.
I'm not convinced about the charming part, but yes, you're right. The head part looks like it's been fairly heavily manhandled. Almost as if somebody has enjoyed twisting it around and around for fun. Shall we try twisting it around and around too? For fun.
What the?
What's that?
It appears to be some sort of key.
But it's tiny though. It couldn't be a key for a door. Not at that size. So what is it for, I wonder? Details of the policeman figurine have been updated in the court record.
Giving it a twist causes a key-like shaft to pop out from the base.
Sure it's not an ice pick or something?
Screwdriver.
This looks like some sort of key.
Yes, it does. Gonna go to bed, lads. Night. I have fun. Thanks. Good night, Griggs.
Thank you so much for hanging out. What's a little key doing inside a figurine of a policeman in the first place? And what's it for? Well, stay tuned, kids. You'll find out. Alright, let's take a look here. I suppose this must have been the murder weapon.
Oh my. It is real, I suppose.
I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them. Perhaps someone more familiar with firearms could shed a light on things here. There's nothing odd about it.
Nope.
Well, okay then. Notice of dismissal, 25th of June.
Chief Warder Daily Vigil is relieved of his post with immediate effect for having violated Clause 132 of Her Majesty's Code of Conduct for Prisons. All rights to redundancy pay and other financial benefits are fully revoked.
Reason for dismissal: aiding and abetting the escape from this prison of convict blank just prior to his execution. Details of this escape are still being investigated. Full cooperation with inquiries will be expected. Prison Governor Barry Caden.
Additional notes: indications that the jailbreak plot was conceived prior to the convict's incarceration. It's believed that the convict engaged in some form of negotiation with prison staff in order to secure assistance. Full disclosure of information regarding these negotiations will be demanded.
Interesting.
Now
Let's talk to this guy. Excuse me. If you're looking down on us from the great beyond, Inspector, don't worry. We'll look after things at the yard. I've interrupted some deep thoughts there. What's this wig doing here? Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes off this thing.
Oh, funnily enough, neither can I. It's a hairpiece, isn't it? It is! It is! A bright red hairpiece!
And I suppose the fact that it's right there next to where the body was found means we have to accept that Inspector Gregson wore wigs, does it?
And it's such a flame-colored red, too.
Yes, that's a color we've come across very recently elsewhere, isn't it?
Exactly! This is a vital clue, I'm sure of it.
Red hairpiece has been entered into the court record.
Flame red wig found at the scene of the crime on Fresno Street. Presumably it belonged to Inspector Gregson. Check the body itself.
I want to check the wig.
All right.
I've always wondered what the underside of a hairpiece looks like.
That doesn't surprise me at all, Mr. Naruhodo. You always want to see what lies beneath, don't you?
I'm not sure that's quite how I'd put it. You must have to use lots of bird lime to keep it in place on your head, so it doesn't get blown off in a gust of wind, I mean.
That might be a little inconvenient when you wanted to take it off again, don't you think?
Ugh, alright. Okay, look at the body. So I suppose this is where the victim...
That's right. The rope is laid around the body to show exactly how it was found. Poor Inspector Gregson himself has already been taken away.
And would probably be under Dr. Scythe's scalpel by now, if not for what happened last week.
From the shape of the rope, it would appear that the inspector was curled up in a ball. Are you feeling all right, Mr. Naruhodo? You look like you've just seen a ghost.
I know it's just a rope, but, well, conjures up quite a terrifying image, that's all. Especially with that blood stain next to it.
Oh, I do understand.
I'm wondering if there's somebody up above talking to us that we don't know about.
No way.
I would have figured it out by now.
In some ways, what we picture in our minds can be even worse than reality.
Sato-san is so strong, though. She's taking this far better than I am. Alright, look at this. The top of one of the candles in this candle holder has been completely blown off.
Yes, there's wax spattered on the wall behind. Look,
I suppose if a bullet had hit it.
it does seem likely that the bullet hit the candle, having first passed through the inspector's body.
Ugh. Now that wax on the wall looks like blood to me. Candelabrum has been entered into the court record.
Candelabra from the wall of the room on Fresno Street where the inspector was found dead. The top of one of the candles appears to have been blown off.
Look at this. Ah, there's some black marks here, look.
Yes, they look like some sort of scorch marks.
So perhaps the bullet struck the candle here, do you think? It's only this one candle that's been cracked in half, it seems.
Yes, I think you might be right. Firearms are rarely used by criminals in Japan, so I'm afraid I'm not particularly knowledgeable about them.
Alright. Well, what the heck else are we gonna do?
I guess
Looks
we're
like
gonna
we're
move.
moving. I think we were gonna be moving back to the Lord Chief Justice's office.
Yes,
I
we are.
was right.
Yep. Here we are again.
1st of November. British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. Why is it black? Why can't we see anything?
Well,
You've made good time.
I took an express train back to London.
I can hear Lord Strongheart, can you?
Yes, it sounds as though he's talking to someone.
Oh, there he is. Is everything in place?
I had a private compartment on the train so I could check all the paperwork.
It's...
Kazuma-sama!
Ah, your timing is impeccable. It is? No doubt you have heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest devilry. Yes,
I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord Strongheart. That Lord Van Zeeks could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson.
I believe only in the facts, and the facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accusal of Lord Van Zeeks for this crime. We must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of a legendary detective.
Oh no, surely not!
It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow, the Forensic Science Symposium finally begins. The very least, though, we can show the world our justice system's swift and equitable processes. So does that mean the trial is tomorrow? Precisely. In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions. Kazuma. Ah, but of course, you're already acquainted, aren't you? Mr. Itsogi here will be present at tomorrow's proceedings, leading the prosecution. Wait! What? Kazuma? As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law.
Kazuma-sama! The prosecutor?
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
Let's talk to this.
Let's talk to this guy, but let me see if I can present this gun. Could I show you this, Lord Strongheart? I'm the Lord Chief Justice. I'm not here to offer advice about evidence. Oh, especially when the evidence in question is so dull. Ah, so that's the real reason. Okay, I guess not. I thought he might know. Tomorrow's trial. I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, no. People all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds. There's no salvation for anyone in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper of the Bailey. Now, the Reaper himself must stand in the dock. Quite so. The public want answers about the Reaper. Answers about how and why those who escaped conviction subsequently died mysterious deaths.
But Lord Van Zeeks firmly denies any involvement in such matters.
And there have been thorough investigations that have proven him to be innocent. That's certainly true, or it has been at least, until now.
Ah!
No, tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history. Prosecutor Asogi. So, Kazuma will be prosecuting tomorrow. That's right.
But he's a defense lawyer, Lord Strongheart.
Accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. Huh? And imagine what it will mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense. A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree? Absolutely. I've no doubt at all that Kazuma will be razor sharp as a prosecutor.
But why Kazuma-sama? There are surely many other highly skilled prosecutors in Great Britain.
It was a personal request. I asked to be reassigned to the trial.
You asked for this? But why?
It'll all become clear tomorrow. I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you?
Huh?
Although, the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation.
I'm surprised such a personal request would have been upheld. It seems unprecedented. Quite exceptional, in fact.
You are quite right, Miss Mikotoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. After all, the accused is one of Gridden's greatest prosecutors, the pride of the Empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as the judiciary closing ranks. So that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution.
Ryunosuke, let's see how your skills have been honed after practicing law in this hand for so many months.
Hand or land?
Land, yes. Sorry.
Kazuma, I don't understand why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't gonna end well, my friend. The killer's gun. Oh yes, we noticed that there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Gregson's death. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Van Zeeks? That would be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene. Well, the thing is, she wasn't sure, so she told me I should ask somebody higher up who might know.
That's right, Mr. Naruhodo. Be direct.
Certainly a model that's issued to all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes. Which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine.
In that case, it could actually have belonged to the victim.
No, Gregson had his gun on his person. What about Lord Van Zeeks? He claims it's currently not in his possession. What? According to his story, he lost it. Short, it's more than a little suspicious.
But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant's is no proof that it's actually his.
No, of course not. Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Van Zeeks.
Okay, so I think we should
then
talk
we're gonna talk to Kazuma.
I'm sorry for all the worry I've caused you, but it'll be all right now.
Has your memory completely returned?
Yes, completely. I remember everything, including what I was coming here to do.
Right.
Kazuma-sama, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But how did you come to be here in London when you were suffering from amnesia? It was a voice. This past year, I've been hearing it in my head constantly, saying the same thing over and over. Go to London. That's where your destiny awaits. It was that voice that guided me here to London. I'm so sorry for what's happened. Anyway, my memory might have returned to me, but there's something that won't return to the way it was before.
Huh? What do you mean?
I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon.
Huh? Doesn't look like we're going to glean much more here. Well, thank you very much, Lord Strongheart. Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in our empire's history. There's much you could learn from the public gallery. And there he goes. Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
Hold it!
Before you go, Ryunosuke,
Oh, what is it, Kazuma?
I just wanted to thank you. Kazuma-sama, what? You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection. You always were intent on studying British law in order to change our own justice system. It was your dream, and Mr. Naruhodo didn't want that to die with you. Yes, but I had another purpose for coming here. Oh? I actually have a favor to ask.
Which is?
This trial I'll be prosecuting tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me, as the defense counsel.
Ah! Why? What's this all about?
I know you have what it takes.
But Lord Van Zeeks would never put his fate in my hands.
On the contrary, he recognizes your talent.
He does?
It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this.
Oh, look at this. That's
Lord Van Zeeks and Inspector Gregson.
in a photograph that must have been taken some time ago by the look of it. And who's the third person? It should be fairly obvious.
Oh.
We'll find out.
It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office.
In Gregson's office, you mean?
Yes. What I'm trying to say is, if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find that some straight talking makes him take a different view. Take it.
Gregson's photograph has been entered into the court record.
An old photographic print displayed rather prominently in Inspector Gregson's office as if it was a treasured memory.
I don't understand. Why are you giving me this?
Just hurry, Ryunosuke. Visiting hours at the prison are almost over.
What are you doing, Kazuma?
Well, there he goes. Only one thing left to do.
Yep,
Let's get to the prison
I think that's it. Yep. We're going to the prison.
and convince Van Zeeks by showing him that photo.
Yep. Da-da-da-da-da! Charge! 1st of November, local prison, cell 1. Lord Van Zeeks is still reading that letter.
We've been gone quite some time, though.
Either he's an incredibly slow reader, or it's an incredibly long letter. I might even be able to read English faster than he can.
I was intending to ignore you entirely, but I can't turn a deaf ear to such an insulting Nipponese.
Oh, sorry. I didn't think you'd hear that.
I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time.
Yes, we heard that your trial is set for tomorrow.
Which is none of your business.
So, have you found a lawyer?
How many times must I reiterate the same thing? This is nothing to do with you.
In other words, no.
We were just talking to Lord Strongheart, and the prosecutor for your trial has been decided.
I'd expect nothing less, though I have no idea who it is.
It's going to be Kazuma Asogi.
Oh! Asogi!
That made the color drain from his face.
Well then. It seems I'm going to have to engage in conversation with you again after all.
Let's talk.
First of all, let's show you this. Lord Van Zeeks, we came by this old photograph.
Huh? Where did you get that? It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost.
Is the man on the left there?
Yes, that's my brother, Clint.
The details of Gregson's photograph have been updated in the court
The
record.
person on the left is Lord Clint Van Zeeks.
It had to be, really. Apparently, this picture was prominently displayed in Gregson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know. Were you aware of that?
Respect? That's nonsense.
No, we've heard someone attest to it very clearly. Inspector Gina Lestrade, no less.
Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future of justice and other such lofty subject matter. That was a nice glimpse of the past. I thank you.
I feel as though I got a nice glimpse of the past then, too. There was a glimmer of light in his eyes, a brief twinkle, an insight into the true nature of this man known to all as the stone-cold Reaper of the Bailey. Give me a hell yeah! Hell yeah! It said stone cold, I had to do it. All right.
Now let's talk to him.
Let's talk to him. Let me talk to you. Yeah. Again, had to do it.
10 years ago, my older brother, who was the director of prosecutions at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asogi.
Gensen Asogi was Kazuma-sama's father.
So what cruel twist of fate is this now, 10 years later? The man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court.
I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprenticed Kazuma to you.
It's what he does. No doubt he knew of the young man's true identity from the outset.
But what could he have been hoping to achieve?
And let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Kazuma recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign this trial to somebody like that?
Asogi. That name is the very epitome of my bane. The bane that is you, Nipponese.
Right. Your hatred of all us Japanese.
The
Nipponese Bane.
I'd only just been appointed as a prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of prosecutions, was hunting down a mass murderer.
The so-called professor.
Assigned to the investigation as his partner was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard.
And that was Genshin Asogi.
Exactly. I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous in the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong.
Oh, how awful.
To avenge my brother, I prosecuted Nasoji's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I beleaguered the ascribed prosecutor until he consented.
What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor?
The man in charge of the Professor case inquiry, Lord Mail Strongheart.
Oh. Wait, what? Lord Strongheart?
He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since that time, he is the one person to whom I felt indebted.
I'm sure he must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor.
Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, who should arrive in London but you?
Huh.
And of all things, as a lawyer.
I felt your animosity the first time I've ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese.
I kept telling myself it was illogical. But for so many years, that hatred had festered inside me. I could no longer control it.
And I can understand why. Now I know the history.
But in the same way that I've long felt the Nipponese to be the bane of my life, to Kazuma Soji, I am the bane of his, the reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow.
Inspector Gregson.
Gregson's transfer to the Paris Police Prefecture had finally been arranged for the coming month, but he'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy.
Oh yes, come to think of it, he did mention something about that, didn't he?
I wonder, does it happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean?
It's the first time I've ever encountered it.
Oh,
The Paris police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in place.
It sounds like that mystery is even the Reaper perplexed.
I'm afraid to say that we were very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. We hear that he was considered something of a legend at Scotland Yard.
Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself by uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity. If it wasn't for Gregson's singular approach to the case, the discovery would never have been made.
What sort of approach?
After my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy.
Oh my, 10 years ago?
Why is that so surprising?
Autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time and rarely performed. And my brother was, of course, a noble. That made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gregson dug up in his investigations made him determined it was necessary. His powerful conviction somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death.
So, you must have had great confidence in the inspector's abilities then.
And it's even more inconceivable that you would have taken his life.
Inspector Gregson.
Your gun. About the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene.
Ah, yes. That's not mine.
Really? His common opinion seems to be that it is.
What do you expect me to say to that?
Lord Strongheart informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm.
As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true.
When did you lose it then?
That I don't know.
Oh,
I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stowed it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps.
you have something in common with Lord Van Zeeks after all, Mr. Naruhodo. A talent for misplacing things.
No. This has nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into it.
Don't make the mistake of associating me with this Nipponese. Oh dear. Root is very wide, isn't it?
So it's not decisive evidence, clearly. But it doesn't look good, that's for sure. That's a little funny thing.
Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh my gosh. And notice how the screen shook when he said that. Wow. Almost doing it through gritted teeth.
Wow.
Oh, that's the first time he's ever used my actual name.
I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in.
What's that?
That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth.
Lord Van Zeeks.
From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey, almost a year ago now, I couldn't deny it, even though I dearly wished I could. Here is a loathsome Nipponese who has absolute integrity as a lawyer.
Huh?
There are only two other men I've known with that same look in their eyes. My brother, Clint, and Genshin Asoji.
The man he idolized, and the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way.
When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me.
You mean this photograph?
Back then, I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of mistrust that plague me now. I looked to the future with hope. Since then, I've protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. But at times, the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe.
I'm so sorry.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me?
Of course I will. It would be an honor.
I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruhodo.
Then my life is in your hands.
Holy shit. Lord Van Zeeks, that must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask. Which is why I simply cannot let the man down. Tomorrow, the Old Bailey against my old friend Kazuma.
Oh boy.
Ugh, strap in, kids.
This is gonna be one hell of a battle.
Yep, so to be continued.
That's where we're gonna stop, folks.
Yep,
Tune in next week, folks, for the trial of the century, ladies and gentlemen.
that's right. Next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, save your current progress, of course. Wow. What a story so far.
Oh yeah, man. It gets better than that, trust me.
Okay, so I am the Cannonball Alex Steele.
I am the package, Andrew Steele.
We are the Steel